Netflix just announced some new cast members for Leigh Bardugo's Shadow and Bone, so we need to talk about it. Without wasting any time, let's just dive into it. We don't have a cool rock band group photo for this cast announcement, unfortunately, but I will put some photos here for you to check out. And let's just go ahead and start with Matthias. We now have our Matthias, and he will be played by Calahan Skogman. And he's pretty much the perfect Matthias. That is exactly how I pictured Matthias. He definitely has that brooding aspect. He is very good looking. Matthias is our brooding Fedyor soldier, fallen from grace, trying to figure out himself and questioning and challenging his own beliefs. I think he has one of the more interesting character arcs in the series. He goes through massive change, and I imagine there will be a lot of nuance playing Matthias, because Matthias is the strong soldier, but he also has like a loving soft heart inside that he needs to discover himself too. And I'm definitely looking forward to seeing Matthias in the show. Let's also do some chemistry check with Nina. I'll put some pictures here for you to see. Nina had been announced quite some time ago, not with the initial cast, but right after that. Nina will be played by Danielle Galligan, and let me know what you think about our OTP Matthias and Nina. I'm actually curious about what they're going to do with Matthias. So basically what's going to happen in Shadow and Bone Netflix series is it's gonna be the first book, and it's going to be some sort of a prequel to the Six of Crows books. So possibly they're going to show Matthias and Nina meeting. They're going to take that backstory from the Six of Crows books and put in the Shadow and Bone TV show. That would work for me. There aren't a lot of Fjördans in the Shadow and Bone series, but there are a lot in Six of Crows series, so this will be like an early introduction to Fjörda. I have other thoughts about what they're going to do with Six of Crows, but let's talk about it at the end of the video. Let's go through the cast for now. And finally, we have our Baghra. Baghra is going to be played by Zoë Wanamaker. She played Professor Hooch on Harry Potter. So as Professor Hooch, she looks super cool. But I'll put some other pictures of her so that you can check. I think she's gonna be great as Baghra. Baghra herself should be a lot of fun to play. There's a lot of complexity in Baghra. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to give any spoilers, but Baghra's conflict is just so incredibly strong, and I think there's a lot to bring to that character acting-wise. So we might end up seeing actually sides of Baghra that we didn't even realize that were there. I'm really looking forward to seeing her in the show. Moving on, we have Julian Kostov playing Fedyor. I actually don't have an image in my head for Fedyor. I guess that's how he looks like. Let me know if you have an image for him in your mind. We also have Jasmine Blackborow playing Marie, and we have Gabrielle Brooks playing Nadia. I don't have an image for either of these characters in my mind. I'm sure they're gonna do a great job. We also have our Zoya. Zoya was announced after the first cast announcement as well. She will be played by Sujaya Dasgupta. So I'll put a photo of her here as well so you can see if you missed that. And we finally have our Apparat. He's gonna be played by Kevin Eldon. I think he does look like Apparat. I can definitely see him being an Apparat. Apparat himself is just such a weird character because it feels like there is more to him, but there really isn't. What you see is what you get. So you meet him, he's a certain way, and it turns out that he really is a certain way. I don't really want to give any spoilers for people who are not familiar with the books, but I'm wondering if there's any nuance to bring to that character. That would be great. And Apparat is sort of like a spiritual leader in the palace, but there isn't really any sort of strong religion in this series, so I wonder what they're gonna do with that. Like, there are saints, but there isn't necessarily religious practice. There can be some complexity brought in through that. He's definitely not among my favorite characters, but he is what he is. I am excited to see what they're gonna do with him. And last but not least, we have our David, and David is played by Luke Pasqualino. We also have our Genya announced between the first casting announcement and this, and she will be played by Daisy Head. So I'll put a photo of her as well so that you can see if you missed that. Getting back to David, David is much different than I imagined him. This guy is very good looking. I imagine David to be more nerdy looking, not as handsome as this guy. He is very good looking. It wouldn't really be a surprise that any girl is interested in this guy because he's really good looking. In the book, the idea is that Genya is such a pretty girl that everyone's like, why would you ever be interested in a guy like David? But in the show, that's not gonna be very surprising because they will be just like a super pretty couple. But makeup and costume departments can make magic happen. Maybe they'll work super hard to make this guy less attractive. I love David. I think he's a super fun character, and I love his relationship with Genya. I have a fantasy relationship tier list video where I ranked their relationship, I think, reasonably high. I'll link that in the description if you'd like to see that. It's one of the weirder videos on this channel. So these are probably most of the characters we get in this season. What we don't get in this season is gonna be Nikolai. We're not gonna get a Nikolai in this season. He's not gonna be cast. They're probably gonna see if the show does well to renew it for a second season, and then they're gonna cast Nikolai. Another character we're not gonna get is Wylan. They're not gonna cast Wylan. So that's an interesting thing because the characters in Six of Crows are not gonna be meeting Wylan in the first season. I am somewhat concerned with what's going to happen with Six of Crows because there's just so much secrets around it. I don't really know what they're going to do with it. Now, it can go both ways. One, they can adapt the backstories in Six of Crows, which means in this season, we get to see the backstories of the characters, and in the next season, we can get into the actual story of Six of Crows. I do think backstories in Six of Crows sometimes break the flow of the current story, but they are very good, and they are very important for us to get to know the characters, so I don't really mind if they start with that. The problem with that is, in a lot of the backstories, characters are significantly younger, so I highly doubt that the actors cast for the characters can play those ages. What I'm afraid they're going to do is they're going to write some random adventures for Kaz and Inej, because Kaz and Inej had been working together when we meet them first in Six of Crows. That is really something I wouldn't want especially newcomers to experience. I would really want people to experience these characters as they're written in the books, because the way they're introduced in the books are excellent. It's just perfect, and I really don't want some other writer to just come up with some random introductory episodes for these characters. That would be really bad. I hope that's not gonna happen. There is a part of me that thinks that's what they're gonna do. I hope I'm wrong. I hope they focus more on the backstories. You know, it is possible to make some alterations, and it is possible to make the characters look a little bit younger, and then we can suspend our disbelief a little bit. As long as it's the backstories in the book, I will be fine, but if they start adding random stuff, I will not be fine. And I don't mind if they do anything like that to Shadow and Bone, because Shadow and Bone has a lot of room for improvement, but I don't think Six of Crows has a lot of room for improvement. I think it's a pretty solid book, so I'm a little bit concerned, but positive thoughts. Let's just have positive thoughts. It's all gonna be great. Alright, that's all I have to say for the new cast. I'd love to know what you think, so please comment so we can talk about it. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like to let me know. And there's a lot of Grisha content on this channel, and there will be more. There's a whole Leigh Bardugo playlist, so if you're interested in seeing more Shadow and Bone, Grisha, and Six of Crows related content, please subscribe, and I'll see you next time.